Welcome back to our podcast. Today we are talking all about stress.
Yes, so when this topic came to be, do you think it's just because of the month of getting towards the end of the school year and all that?
Exactly. Getting towards the end of school year, college decisions came out,
Yeah.
and I don't know, end of school year is always stressful, isn't it?
I think right now for me, since I have one more year, technically this is kind of like, so I'm supposed to be a 2-year transfer, or like technically this would be like junior year of high school.
Yeah.
I don't feel as much stress right now. I think last week I did because I had like tests and I was planning.
Wait, you mean freshman year of high school?
Like second to almost last. So you're in your kind of last, like senior almost, and then I'm in my junior, kind of what I'm saying. So I was stressed, but I think I somewhat got a few things sorted out. So I'm more so relaxing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on two different spectrums right now.
Yeah, because I'm transferring next year. I got my decisions. I got my number one choice, so I'm really happy about that.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Wow. So you touring?
I'm gonna tour probably in May because I can't.
Yeah.
Like in late May, but yeah, end of year, final community college is wrapping up.
That should de-stress you almost, but it's just one more deadline, right?
It's one more deadline, but it's also like I'm stressed about trying to finish everything up.
Yeah.
Because it's like all the loose ends are coming to a close, and then I'm gonna be somewhere new. It's like a lot of change too.
Yeah.
So.
I think that was kind of what I was saying last week about like just invoking change. Right now, I think as like the junior year, I'm just like I'm trying to make as much change as I can because I feel very like still.
Yes.
Like compared to like senior year, you think like it might be more stressful, but I don't know. I think junior year is like in high school specifically, maybe. I don't know. We're talking about first year of college technically as a transfer, but it's more about like just getting your grades in, your tests. If you can have extracurriculars, finish that, preparing for college applications. Versus I think I don't know. I think in my class too we were talking about stress, and I'm just thinking like what kind of stress would you prefer to have?
I mean, good stress is always good. A little bit of stress,
Yeah.
Keeps you on edge.
Yeah.
I feel like I do better with a little like fire.
Yeah.
Fire under myself.
We had there was one assignment I just did where it was a psychologist talking about stress, and she used to say like stress is bad for you, but then she said that they did a study and everything, and they found that the people who viewed stress as bad for you had a lower life expectancy.
Oh, interesting.
And then so they used like public death records, and then she's like, oh, that's kind of like dull or whatever, but then she said people who viewed stress as good, they have like a higher life expectancy. So it's just like changing how you view about stress. And then I kind of made the connection to sports, and then she was talking about like adrenaline, like you think of it as like something like motivation, almost something like in sports, like for basketball example, we have these like kids are like, oh, like where they're like 3, 2, 1 buzzer beater or something like that, right? As kids we like, I don't know, we go in these game situations as fun things compared to, I don't know, you can think of it as like a deadline. So it's just like how two versions of stress. One is like fun adrenaline, something kicking in as motivation.
I see, yeah. Versus like stressful, like I have to do it now, like
yeah,
like that kind of like feeling in your chest.
So yeah, very relevant.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about like ways to de-stress, like ways to cope with stress. How do we mitigate stress? I think for me, one thing I used to do when I was living in Bulgaria that I don't do anymore, maybe it's a cultural thing, I feel like people don't do it here, is like go to a sauna. Like that helps so much. I feel like de-stress, like being in a hot room, and then like it like really helps. And actually they're quite accessible, low key, like at a lot of like 24/7 fitness. If you have like a $75 monthly membership, they include sauna. I mean, it's not like the best quality, but you don't need quality. And then also at like in shape gyms too, they have pretty good sauna. So I should do that more.
Yeah, I don't think I've properly saunaed.
You have to.
Or like hot tubs since like
no,
I went to like a hotel pool.
Sauna's a different experience.
I don't know. I
Sauna
kind of
is,
don't
like-
like the heat.
No? Oh my gosh, I gotta convert you then.
I don't know. I think it makes me uncomfortable. I think my way of processing stress is just, I don't know. I like going to the gym and just plugging in headphones because then when I come out, I'm like refreshed.
That's a good
But it's
one.
just like when you're thinking of like, oh, I have to do time for this, and I have 11 p.m. deadlines because I go to the gym at night.
Oh, yeah.
So I come back, so I'm like, okay, it'll help me get on top of my stuff,
Yeah.
or just clear my mind.
Like exercise always helps.
Definitely.
I feel like, yeah, I do the same. I try to go to yoga as much as I can, but it's not always feasible.
Yeah.
But it really does help, like when I can go.
Or just being outside, outdoor
Yeah,
walks, nature,
outdoor is good too.
connecting with nature again.
I started like trying to take more walks around campus. Campus is so beautiful.
Really? Yeah.
And I think at the top of the hill, they just opened this new fire department. I'm not really sure what it is. Like
that way.
like fire education building. But then it's like so beautiful because that's like the edge of campus, and then
Yeah.
there's just like all the hills, and like it's super green and everything is blooming right now. So if you ever have free time, I highly recommend visiting
Yeah.
the fire station.
We'll go there today maybe. If we have time walking around. But you said you also like viewing the vineyards behind campus.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful, and it's like, oh my gosh,
I think
life is okay.
Yeah, I think just looking at the rows, I was kind of like creeped out at, you know, when things are too like structured and organized. Like I think it's just like the pointing things like out of the hill. I'm just like, oh.
Really? Like the grape things?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love those. I'm like, it's so perfect. It's aesthetic.
Yeah. I don't know if they had like flowers or something with it. I think another way is definitely with scheduling and planning. In tutoring, we learn like making process goals instead of like achievement goals. So you
like
can
breaking it up.
Yeah, breaking it up, stacking it. So then goals seem more achievable. So what I've been doing is making like long-term and short-term lists.
Those are so good.
Yeah. So I have like a weekly to-do list, and then I don't know. I don't go beyond that really, but sometimes if I ever just feel like it. Actually, I do. I have like my long-term to-do list is putting in my reminders and not putting a date to it. So if I'm ever scrolling through my reminders, I can just be reminded of
Those
something I could do.
I feel like, okay, I used to be like a really long-term planner.
Yeah.
And that worked for me. But then I feel like I realized it's important to long-term plan, but also like be able to adapt and like go with the flow.
Yes, definitely.
And not be so attached to the outcome. Like, oh my gosh, if this doesn't happen, then like life is over.
Yeah.
Because like you'll be fine. Like I'm always fine.
Yeah.
But
Being flexible or adaptable to change. I think that kind of goes with what we said last week about like if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. But also if you plan too much, life laughs in your face.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's the whole thing about like managing. Like how
Managing.
not kind of your expectations with like the long term, how down to the wire you plan. But it's also good just to have like plan for the best. No, plan for the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Full circle.
Full
Going back to
circle.
our
Yep.
catchphrases.
Yep.
Another thing, I think now, just like a lot of these scenarios of me managing my stress was when I know I have a lot of deadlines to meet, I kind of look beyond that to like the Zen period, which I kind of am right now. So last week I had like all these deadlines, and then now I'm just like, okay, I have like, I don't know, I kind of think like as a worker, I'm kind of a burnout worker. Kind of like, I saw Mr. Beast, I'm in the Mr. Beast mentality where he's like, dude, he says that he works like 6 days in a row, like nonstop,
my
and he
gosh.
gets 1 day to burn out, and then he's
Oh
just
my
back on
gosh.
top of it. Like,
Uh-uh.
I really feel like, you know, like the Pomodoro technique, like, I don't think I actually could follow that. I'm really much like, just like, if I'm studying, like, obviously the hardest thing is just starting, but if I have math homework, if I just start it, I can do it like 2 hours nonstop.
Oh my gosh, that's good. Okay, I feel like I'm in between. Like sometimes I could just like go and like without stopping, get in the zone. Like I was telling you the other day, I just like got in the zone with this project, and then I never pull all nighters. It's so bad for you, but I did it anyways. And like, oh my gosh, I just like boom, you know, I got stuck. But I feel like I need like I can work for an hour, but then I need like 5 minutes, and then it helps like refresh.
Yeah.
And then I don't have 5 minutes, but
Yeah, I think I don't know if I've ever like actually tried the Pomodoro technique. What I do.
What is Pomodoro technique?
It's where you set like a timer, so they have a bunch of like online timers, and I think it's you study for I don't know like 15 minutes in a row, take a 5-minute break, and just keep continuing that cycle. But I don't think I could bring myself to stop my rest. So it's like 15 minute and then 5-minute break, and I just keep continuing that break. Cause yeah, obviously they say like the hardest thing is just to start. So if you just put yourself in that situation, what I think, what I've learned is something very good on your phone. Do you use screen time?
I see it like notify me.
Yeah, I use screen time and focus. So I use screen time on like YouTube and all that. So I put my limit for like an hour and 40 minutes every day. And then there's also downtime. So after like 12, I think 12 to 7, it closes like a bunch of apps on my phone. Like, I don't know if my YouTube's down right now. Yeah, you can see right here it's like time.
Oh.
And then if I want to click it, it gives you this time limit, and then you say go for 15 minutes, one more minute, or ignore for today. So I think the creator of like who made these things, they're like, oh, just having that constant reminder, like then you'll lessen your time, and I have seen my time lessened a lot.
Yeah, that's so good.
I used to use it a lot, but I think I disabled it, and then I realized I was on YouTube for so long. So it was like the first 2 weeks back, my screen time went down like an hour.
Oh my gosh, that's good. But I feel also like social media can stress us so much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get stressed like when I'm stressed. Like one of the ways I cope is like when I take a break, I'll like scroll. But then it doesn't really help because then I'm still stressed at the end of the day, and then I'm just like procrastinating.
I think it depends what media, because I stay off social media.
That's so good. Also, is it just me? I feel like social media is so boring.
Yeah, because it really depends. But what I found was like, obviously I'm like YouTube Shorts and all that, and most of them are just like TikTok reposts. But I think like, I don't know. I think YouTube's very inspirational. Like it depends what you're also watching, what your feed is. Like I love just watching more like inspirational stuff. So even like Pinterest, like I canceled like all my emails. I unsubscribed for a bunch of emails. But I'm like, Pinterest send me emails every day, and I'm just like, oh, like it's inspiration. Like Pinterest is such a great app.
Yeah, I feel like Pinterest is a good de-stressing social media now.
Yeah. Or it's like a vision board, like constantly just
Vision board,
popping up at you.
like good
Except the
vibes.
ads, but
Yeah, I always like click on the ads by accident. Like, oh. I think also for me, like when I have like one day, I try to have like one day in the week that I just like completely like don't do anything.
Yeah.
Like at least one day of doing like nothing, or just doing the stuff I want to do. Like the other day when I had my like weekly day off, I went to work out in the morning, and then I took like self-care day, which was hard to take the whole day off because I really wanted to work, and I know that it makes the deadline is approaching, but I feel like it actually helps me work more efficiently when I do have to work. So then I took like exercise in the morning, felt good, like read my book all day, was in the sunshine, made some delicious like meal that made me feel good, and then went to sleep.
Yeah, I think it's hard just giving that day. I think what I try to do is like self-care day, and then I fall into the habit of trying to like multitask a lot. So I'm like, oh, while I watch a movie, like I can read some emails or whatever. I'm like, okay, sometimes I'm just like, you know how people when they study, they're like, oh, I throw my phone in another room, or just like when I actually need to take a break, like I put my computer in another room, so I like go downstairs and I cannot like check it at all.
Yeah. How do you think, like since high school, has your stress level in community college gotten worse? Has it stayed the same?
I think it's gotten better just because of my mindset with a few things. I think before it was, I don't know. I think I was very like grade focused, and I had external pressures being like, why is this 9 out of 10? Like, just silly mistakes. And then now I'm just like, I'm seeing more end result, or I'm viewing, I don't know, I'm reprioritizing
Like
what I
viewing
want to focus
long term,
on.
or viewing more like what?
Like, yeah, not getting too stuck in the moment.
Yeah.
So that's really helps with stress, definitely. And yeah, just staying in the moment, definitely. That's one of our podcasts. We talk a lot about staying in the moment.
The power of now. How do you recommend?
Yes,
you read it?
Staying in the moment, and also I think just right now for me it's being excited for like small things.
Yeah,
like
that's so important. Like
small things to come. Like my friend's birthday's party's coming up. I can go to graduation party soon.
Yes.
Summer is coming up. And all that. I'm very excited for that.
Yes. That's a really good point. Like looking at the small things and having gratitude for the small things. I think that helps you with stress too.
Yes.
I think like since I've adopted, like what are you saying about mindset? Like for me too, since I've adopted more of a mindset of gratitude, I think my stress level has gone down because I can actually like step away from work when I'm in a space of gratitude.
Definitely, I think it's like one of my worst fears. It's just like when I actually get a job and work, like, you know, people say like 9 to 5 and all that, but like, I don't know, those weird jobs where people are like micromanaging beyond work time, like, so I'm viewing those videos right now where people are just like 5 p.m. shut your computer off for work, like how to tell your manager no, like
Oh
after
my
work
gosh.
hours, don't email me.
Work boundaries. Yeah, that's funny. But I think that a 9 to 5 is better than a 9 to like a 9. Like if you have a small business, that's
Yeah.
24/7.
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
That's another topic, but
I don't know. I think I'd hopefully just in the field when I'm studying. I don't know. I think the end goal for me might be becoming my own boss, which is
really
insane. Yeah. But I don't know. It's all about just like stability and life balance.
Yeah.
If people find that more with, I don't know. If you see like YouTube creators, I think they talk about how there's a lot of pros to it, but the cons are like you're always working. So they have to reframe their mindset of like filming stuff that used to be fun is now work. They have to reframe it like, oh, it is fun.
Exactly.
So.
Or like I remember when I had a small bit, I had a jewelry business during
Ooh.
COVID, and I like worked so hard on it. Like I literally like, oh my gosh, I worked so hard on it. But that was like the first time I really felt like, oh my gosh, this is not this is not a 9 to 5. This is like a 7 to 7.
Yeah.
Or, you know? So I don't know, gave me a new appreciation for like working,
Jobs definitely.
working like corporate jobs or something.
Yes,
Like
I think
it's not all bad. No, and then also I had to pay. I had to pay self-employment tax at the end of the
Really?
year, which was double.
Oh yeah, I think I
my
have to do that too.
gosh.
I'm not really
Mhm.
self-employed, but I think my job gave 1098s. Yeah, so I have to pay tax on that. But yeah, and if we do another episode about financial literacy.
Financial literacy. I feel like I need to listen to episodes on that.
Dude, I watch a lot of creators. I bought a book. If you've ever watched Vivian To Your Rich BFF, she's all over TikTok. I watch her on YouTube. But I bought her book. I haven't read it yet because I'm so bad about it.
Oh.
But my dad started reading it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Just a quick peek into that. I'm starting to try to look into Roth IRAs,
Same.
retirement stuff.
Retirement
like that.
stuff.
Or just getting a job first off to begin with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to look into getting. I mean, it's so bad. Like I'm 22. I don't have a credit card yet. But
Really?
I need to get a credit card. Oh my gosh.
I don't think it's that hard to apply for.
I know. I just like haven't. Like I just haven't applied.
Now's the time.
Now's the time.
Especially
now
like
is the
if you
time.
get the, I don't know, maybe even like before finals, after finals, if you apply for it. I mean, now you can use the time to see like what credit card might be best for like, I don't know, but if you get your credit card, you can spend stuff on like college stuff, dorming. You can get your credit score up.
Get that up. Yeah.
I mean,
I'll
you're
do
already making money and all that
Yeah.
from other jobs you've done, so
It's like my
you already have
weekend
a
to do.
start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly. Oh, also in regards to stress, sleep.
Oh yeah.
Sleep is a big one. I always feel so much more stressed.
Yeah, when you don't sleep. I think I don't know. I'm a weird like numbers person, so if I'm sleeping at 3, I'm like, oh, I only have 5 hours to sleep. I only have 4 hours and 30 minutes.
I know, me too.
And I'm like counting down the time, and like that's stressing me more out.
Exactly. Okay, have you taken brain, mind, and behavior, right?
Yeah, I'm in it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think around this time in the semester, have you talked about like the
We're doing
circadian
stress right
rhythm?
now.
Yeah.
We haven't done sleep yet, but I know you talked
Oh
about
my
sleep a little bit.
gosh, that sleep literally changed my life.
Yeah.
In our professor's lecture on sleep, like it brought to light, you know, how important circadian rhythm is and how important like keeping a schedule is, and like it's not always feasible, but when I can do it, like oh my god, I've been sleeping like 7-8 hours consistently since December.
That's good.
Never in my life have I slept so well. And then I don't know, I feel like because I understand circadian rhythm with sleep, then it helps me with like my food cycle, like when I'm hungry then I eat then.
Yeah.
And it helps me like with working, like I work when I'm most productive in the day.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. It'll be good. It'll be good.
Yeah, I think sleep is definitely, but I'm still on that. I don't know. I need to get out of the high school cycle because I'm still like
Yeah.
my sleep schedule's messed up. But
Yeah.
I'm still getting like I can still get a decent amount of sleep, but it might be from like 4 to 12.
You gotta fix that. Trust. It will help so
But
much.
I know I've seen a lot of videos that are like 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is like your best time and all that. But if we talk about that episode, we can also talk about naps. Because like in European countries, I don't know specifically in Bulgaria, but have you heard of like
Siesta?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard
And I
of
want
that.
to jump on that.
Yeah.
Or we can move to. Have you seen in like the foreign lands, like in Italy, they're selling houses for like €1?
Oh my gosh, I've seen that, but I feel like they're like fixer-uppers there. No.
So you can buy it. They want to get like foreigners there, so they're selling it to foreigners for €1, but you have to renovate it within like the first months
something
or
like that.
years, something like that. But like people are like, oh, these dream locations in like Portugal and all that are like becoming like desert lands because like no one wants to live there anymore. Everyone wants to move to like big cities and all that.
Interesting. Oh my gosh.
It's another stress thing, just like adulting. We'll have an adulting episode
We should.
about that kind of goes into financial literacy,
Yeah.
but how to adult.
Like I didn't even realize. Oh my gosh. Like, yeah, we'll have an adulting episode.
Yeah, but just the concept of that just like kind of collaborates with stress. If I just think about that too much, it'll stress you out.
Exactly. I feel like also nobody like explained to me what to
Definitely.
do. Nobody explained to me, and like, okay, that's also my responsibility. But it's hard, like when you don't know,
Yeah.
and like you don't know that you don't know.
Yeah.
That's
definitely.
that's the hardest thing.
I think it's also just in our sports podcast. We just said like taking the time to really do it for yourself, because at some point you realize like not many people are gonna hold your hand.
Exactly.
It's fun having these conversations and being more, I don't know, learning how to manage stress. I don't know, music, staying in the moment. I love music. Music's so fun.
Yes, music helps a lot. Also meditation.
Yeah,
Like when I
definitely
can,
meditation.
I sometimes struggle with motivation for that, but like when I can, focusing on my breathing.
Yeah,
So
and also the kind of thing like your mindset around just giving yourself like breaks and all that, or doing stuff like meditation and not thinking of the stereotypes or taboo like, oh, that's a waste of time and all that. Just trying new things.
Exactly. And anyways, like my nervous system, like, not that I can feel my nervous system, but like my nervous system, I can feel that I feel better, feel calmer, and then I can work better when I do. So it's ironic, like it's almost as if it's not the amount of time you spend that matters, but how you spend the time.
Yeah, how like you view
your
just doing
efficiency.
certain things. I think just like romanticizing certain activities.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh, I don't know, when I see people like walking in the park, like ladies walking together, I'm like, oh, I want to be like a brunch lady.
Brunch, lady walking through the garden.
Yeah. So if you romanticize that idea versus just thinking like, oh, that's a waste of time, we're like, oh, that's so stupid, like what they're doing. But
exactly, like gratitude.
Yeah, definitely staying in the moment. Or just being happy for the little things.
They're important for big stressors, little things.
Yeah. What do you think has been like the biggest stress during like certain periods of your life?
That's a really good question. I feel like definitely the periods of most change have been the most stressful.
Like you moved a lot.
I moved a lot. Like when I was a kid moving, but like as an adult or adolescent, like the transition from high school to not high school.
Yeah.
For me, was stressful. And then also from like not high school to community college was stressful because it was like, I mean, I changed countries, and then I feel like I had a culture shock moving to Europe, and then I had a culture shock moving back. Like a reverse culture shock. Like if you've experienced it, it's so weird. Like I still have that reverse culture shock a little bit. There are some things about America that are just like strange. I don't know.
Yeah. I think
How about you?
I don't know, mostly just finding out what college you get to and what major I want to study, and then later it's just like having jobs and having internships. I'll translate into more things. So I'm just like, if I can start early and get on that planning, but also just being somewhat optimistic, or I don't know, kind of lowering expectations or hoping. I don't know, just trying new things.
Try new things. Yeah.
Trying not to. I don't know. When I said like in the version of a 9 to 5, like I was thinking like about burnout, like companies or something like that. Because there's like so many stories, but I don't know, just hoping for the best with the job, and then just bringing that stability and having time to also do passions outside of work.
Exactly.
Saving up for like vacations and all that.
And that gives you something to look forward to.
Definitely.
And I feel like that helps with burnout as well. I feel like I'm entering burnout low key. Like I need to be careful. Like
Really?
Yeah, I feel like I know when I'm entering burnout when I start to doubt myself and I think that everything I do is really bad, and then I just like don't care anymore.
Yeah, I think it's like the whole validation thing. I think the whole like last episodes we talked about were really helpful for me, because I think what I said was I feel like I'm doing everything but nothing at the same time.
Exactly.
So it's like I feel like I'm doing so much, but they're kind of, I don't know, just silly or like meaningless. So I'm just like, okay, like lowering the amount of stuff I do, but actually putting more like, I don't know, seeing more grapes of my fruit, something like that.
Yeah,
fruit of my labor, fruits of my labor.
Yeah. Exactly.
But hopefully this was somewhat de-stressful.
It was.
Yeah.
It was definitely. Also time with friends. Definitely.
Yes, or just like speaking out your goals. They say like especially with like writing, if you just I don't know if you're typing or if you speak out your thoughts, that helps just like detangle whatever's going on in your brain or just even writing
Writing
down.
it down too.
Because I think like when I was planning, I used to be like, oh, I don't need like a planner to like write down I have deadlines for this class. Like obviously there's a Canvas calendar, whatever, but I never like wrote down like, oh, I have this due, whatever. So that was just like an unnecessary like stressor for me. I'm just like, why not? It takes like 1 minute, like.
Exactly.
But I don't know, it's just like little things like, oh, I don't want to carry this. So I'm gonna remember these deadlines.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but hopefully we can meet our deadlines. I mean, you already got good news, so.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this summer, hopefully you can relax a bit, unless you just have to take like one class, and then you
I
probably
do,
don't work.
and hopefully there's a program at UCSC that I would love to be a part of. So
I have to
hopefully I
apply
can
for
get a
that.
part of that. Yeah. So I have to apply for that, but we'll see. I'm going with the flow. Like
Yeah.
what happens happens.
I mean, also just like planning your burnout. Cause my friend who's going like crazy in
Can
community
you plan
college.
burnout?
Dude, yeah, she's like this summer I'm not gonna do anything. So
I
then,
see.
like, cause the past like 2 years or whatever, she's just like stuck in her room, and then she's like, oh yeah, I studied like 9 to 5, and then she's like, she drives to her college at 7 a.m., comes back at 7 p.m., goes straight to sleep, and then she's like, okay, this summer, I'm like, are you gonna do anything this summer? She's like, no. And I'm like, okay, I can
That's
actually hang
good.
out with you.
Yeah.
And then she's like, yeah, and then she's like, I'm like, you're giving yourself time to burn out, right? She's like, yeah. So you could plan burnout.
That's true. That's true. It's good to relax, but I feel like for me, like I have to be doing something though. Like, I can't just
Yeah.
sit around. So maybe I think for sure I'll work, but
Yeah, I think
have more
it's-
time in between work. You know, now I have no time.
Yeah. Sometimes I would schedule myself like back to back, or like obviously when you have to schedule for work, you think like in the future, you're like, oh, this day like I'll be fine, like 30-minute break, whatever. The whole time you're just driving there, I'm like, dude, why did I sign myself up for this?
No,
So, like,
literally
yeah.
me this weekend. Like
No, literally like sometimes for like sports and all that, so I do soccer and tennis. Like I booked it back to back, and obviously it's like decent money or whatever. But like every weekend, my parents like, oh, let's go shopping. Like you've been doing so much, and you always say like you're so tired, you want to go shopping. But like the only time I'm free is on the weekend, and then I schedule work. So this weekend, like I actually took time. Like I emailed my manager. I'm like, I cannot like cancel these 3 games for me. I'm not going.
good.
So I'm like, okay, like I could get money and all that, but like
time for yourself is priority.
just outside of school, definitely like college, you learn a lot more about balance with work specifically, and then hopefully later we can learn corporate balance and stability with corporate.
Yes.
Hopefully the job market gets better. Praying for that.
Praying for that.
And our college sets us up for good. Hopefully our colleges, because there's also bad stories about colleges not setting up. But obviously some work on ourselves too, just planning for ourselves as well. And staying in the moment.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you next time.
Peace out.
Thanks for tuning in.